So hantavirus is all the rage now, and they're using the same playbook. They're trying to scare everybody. CNN's talking about lockdowns. Moderna has a vaccine in the works for this, right? And again, you got a better chance of being hit by lightning, a 6-time better chance of being hit by lightning than you do of catching hantavirus. That's according to Dr. Robert Malone, who, by the way, was right about everything about COVID. So I'm willing to trust him on it. And so here's another one of these fake thing that get caught lying. So here they are all dressed in hazmat suits. But guess what? There's going to be a guy without a hazmat suit just going to walk right up into him. Let's watch. You can turn that down. So they're look, it's super scary. Oh, here comes a guy. No hazmat suit. No nothing. Not even a gas mask. No nothing. There's another guy. There's another guy there. He's just wearing regular clothes. Right? Isn't that? It's kind of amazing. He doesn't even have gloves on. So there's two guys just kind of stumble into this. Meanwhile, everybody else is dressed like they're on the moon. And they're doing it again because you didn't hang them last time.
Precisely.
So, what? So when you see a video like, what do you? Let me show it again. Let's just show it again. So here they are, all dressed up like they're fighting Ebola on the moon, and there's a guy just walking right by, nothing. And then here's another guy. It's just amazing to me. He's picking up all their stuff, putting it in a bag. He doesn't even have gloves on. He doesn't have a hazmat suit on. This is amazing. He doesn't have gloves on. So when you see something like this, Brian, what does this tell you about hantavirus and what's happening?
Well, first of all, hantavirus is not transmissible by respiratory droplets, and it's very, very rarely transmissible between humans. There's a variant called Andes that is transmissible between humans, but it's much more fecal oral than it is through respiratory droplets. So, this is all for the cameras. All of this is to stoke more fear porn. Even Fauci has surfaced recently saying that we need to practice masking, social distancing, something that he told us earlier that was a lie. He's now going back on his lie and saying, oh, hantavirus, it's a big deal. It's a big problem. It could be spreadable. But, they're basically greasing their own palms, trying to get more money from pandemic fear porn potential. And all of this, again, it's to get us to comply. It's to get us to buy more masks. It's to get us to buy into the vaccine construct. So we get more mRNA vaccines, this time for hantavirus rather than for SARS-CoV-2. And again, we need to bring these individuals to justice, and there needs to be an example of those individuals that deceived us before, made before society, like you said, so it doesn't happen again. I mean, it's the same playbook. They tried this with bird flu. They tried it with Mpox. Now they're trying it with hantavirus. They're just throwing a bunch of crap against the wall to see what sticks.
And what do you make of people like when Bill Gates, and he's not a doctor, he didn't even finish college, when Bill Gates, who somehow everybody goes to for their information about vaccines and viruses, even though he's not a doctor, he's not a virologist, he didn't even finish college, but he does have billions of dollars. So everybody listens to this guy for some reason. But what do you think when he was on TV? He was on The View a year ago, and he was saying there's another pandemic coming. What do you make of when guys like that do stuff like that?
Like, what in the heck does he know? Right. Maybe if he was behind the planning of event 201, then he knew something before. What does he know now? And why in the heck does he know it and not, the individuals that could actually curtail this in its tracks? I mean, I'm sick of being jerked around as a society, and this was clearly a fact. It was a lab leak. It was a lab release. release. We don't know if it was an intentional release. Most days I feel like it was more of an intentional than an accidental release. I don't think this was some happy accident, especially the way the virus came in waves, and especially the way that they were so set up to take care of this with the vaccine and to quell any type of alternative technology, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine. I think that this was all a plan. And if this was a plan before, why in the hell is Bill Gates on the TV telling me a year ago, oh, well, we're going to try this plan again?
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's because we didn't hang them last time. That's why.
Precisely.
Okay, Brian, I appreciate you coming on again. Thanks, brother, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Timmy. Good to see you.
Good to see you. All right, we're going to, let's take a break, and we'll be right back. Come see me on tour in Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Atlanta, Raleigh, North Carolina, Spokane, Tacoma, and Levittown, New York. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.
I just watched a video that I'm not going to share because the girl's a Trumper. I'm not going to bring attention to it, but the story needs to be told, and I think there's a very important lesson here. This girl lives in Coweta County, or her mom lives in Coweta County, Georgia, okay? And a neighboring county is having some data centers put in. So Georgia Power and Light is extending their infrastructure in order to power that data center. And so her mother's house, her childhood house, the house that her mother bought in 2002, 24 years ago, that's on 2.5 acres of land that she's made into her forever home, the one that she's got a chicken coop on it. She has her childhood tree house on it. She showed pictures in a subsequent video, and it looks very idyllic. It looks like where you'd want to be. There's a creek running in the back. There's some ponds with some goldfish that are apparently 10 inches long, 30 of them that are going to get killed in the demo. They are eminent domaining her house and multiple other houses, and they're taking all of the land. They're taking all of their memories. They're taking everything. Her mother's in her 50s. She's on a fixed income. The house is very likely paid off, and now she's going to have to go someplace else and have a mortgage again because they're only offering $125,000 less than what the most recent comp sold for. So where's she going to go? Where she's not going to have a mortgage. She's going to have to considerably downsize, most likely, if she doesn't want to have a mortgage. And this is all because a data center needs to be powered. And Georgia Power and Light, a private company, gets to eminent domain your fucking house. Georgia Power and Light, a monopoly. I made a video about this last week or the week before about how these utility companies are utilities and should be public. They should not be private. There's only one power company in Georgia, right? And for profit, they are allowed to come and take your fucking home and pay you pennies on the dollar in order to be able to service a data center. Think about that. I'm not sharing her video because in a follow-up video, she was answering some FAQs, and like the third or fourth question was, who'd you vote for? And she said, well, I'm just going to be transparent with you. I couldn't vote because I hadn't changed my last name to my married name, blah, blah, blah. She didn't say I didn't vote, but I wouldn't have voted for that guy. She didn't say that. She said I couldn't vote. And then in the comments, someone said that that's code for I would have voted for him if I could. And she said, my mom voted blue. So she's a Trumper, right? Even in the face of this, she is not willing to say, fuck that guy. She's bringing it down to the local politics level, and she's saying that the county commissioners and the city commissioners are, the ones that are up for re-election are the only ones who voted against it, and the ones that are in office until 2028 all voted for it, and they're all getting greased, okay? I need to also remind you that she said this is the county over. This is the county over. And because they want to extend the infrastructure and the power lines onto her mother's property, they're taking her property in a county over. And her county is scheduled to put in 8 data centers. This is so fucking corrupt. And if you think it's not going to come for your little slice of heaven, you're fucking mistaken. For eminent domain, it's supposed to be like you have to sacrifice something for the greater good, right? Because the community on a whole is going to benefit, and we don't have another fucking choice, okay? It has to be this. It has to be this. In this scenario, the power company, this private utility, gets to act as a government entity, right? When it's good for them, they get to exercise their power as the public fucking utility that they are. But their decisions are made more openly than our own government, because at least our government is supposed to pretend like that it's working for us. Pretend, hard on the pretend. But they get to make their decisions based on their profits and just say everyone will benefit when it's being decided on their fucking profits, their bottom line. They are a for-profit corporation who decided that in order to power this data center, they're going to extend their power lines onto people's property. People who've been living here for 25 years. People who have built their heaven on earth here in this wooded, beautiful garden home that backs up to a creek. They're going to take that person's home because of a data center. They're just going to demolish it. The day that it's set to be sold is the same day that it's set to be demolished. August 1st or something like that. She doesn't have that kind of time to fight it. It is always going to be profits over people. They do not see the humanity of you and me. They don't care as long as their bank accounts feel satiated for the time being. I was going to say full, but they'll never be full enough for them. These are people who are insatiable. They can only feel satisfied for a moment, and then it's the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. They will never have enough of your stuff. They're never going to have enough of your money. They're never going to have enough of your time. They're never going to have enough of your inconveniences. They're never going to have enough of your life force energy. They're never going to have enough of your property. They're never going to have enough of your stuff. And when it's not this, what's it going to be? When it's not this, and it seems like it's not even enough for these data centers to be taking up all of the energy. Like the video that I made last week or the week before about the data centers in Utah, I said in that video, and it's true, those data centers are going to be using twice as much energy as the entire state, which means that the state could have doubled its tax revenue on the energy and didn't even take that for its people because it discounted it from 6% to 0.5%, the tax on the energy. When they had an opportunity to benefit the people, they didn't, because most certainly they were asked to do that, and they did. For something on the back end, I presume. But I need you guys to fundamentally understand that when you vote for someone who's going to run this country like a company, like a corporation, called he's a businessman, blah, blah, and that's the only thing that trickles down. The ability to openly and brazenly be robber barons, to openly and brazenly be stealing from the people, because, hey, it's business. They move real quick. They always move so quick when someone's financial a company's, a corporation's, some very wealthy people's financial interests are involved. Then they can pass things. Then they can make accommodations. Then they can have meetings to figure out logistics. Then they can do all of that stuff. But when you say, hey guys, like transportation's been really shitty. Hey guys, can we get some food for lunches for kids in school? Everyone's starving to death. Hey guys, things are getting a little bit unaffordable. They're like, we're just gonna have to handle this next year because we just have way too much on our plates right now. Things take time. Yeah, things take time. They just hope that you die in that time. And then they can move on to the more important thing, the pressing matters of making money for the wealthy. And like I said before, they will sacrifice you on the altar of their financial pursuits, their egos, their aspirations. Be wary of those who seek positions of power, because thus far, the ones that have been brazen enough to pursue that power are the ones who are going to sell you out for a dime.
Here's a cute teacher appreciation gift that they'll be sure to love. I'm so excited to be partnering with Dollar General today and grabbed a few things from there to turn them into a meaningful DIY.